So picture this. A young boy shows up in what's supposed to be paradise. But for him, it's anything but. It's a prison, really, built on suspicion. From day one, he's the outsider. This is the story of Yang Guo.
And it all kicks off with this quiet fear. It comes from his new guardian, Huang Rong. I just fear he's too clever. See, that one little sentence, it's not just a passing thought. It's basically a prophecy that's going to shape his entire childhood.
We're talking about Peach Blossom Island, right? A legendary safe haven for martial artists. But for our guy, young Yang Guo, well, he's the son of a famous trader. So for him, the so-called paradise, it's already poisoned. His whole story from here on out is just this desperate fight against the shadow of his father's past.
So at the heart of his new family, you've got this major conflict brewing. On one side, there's his guardian, the hero Guo Jing. He just wants to honor a promise and raise this bright kid. But then you have his wife, the super sharp Huang Rong. She knows better than anyone how a clever mind can get into trouble. And for her, Yang Guo's smarts aren't a good thing. Nope, it's a huge red flag, the first sign that he's taking after his traitor dad.
And all this tension, all this suspicion, you know how it finally blows up? In the most ridiculous, everyday way you can imagine. A kid's game, a fight over crickets.
And man, it happens fast. First, Guo Fu, the daughter of the house, she just straight up crushes Yang Guo's prize-winning cricket, just to be mean. He snaps, slaps her right back, and that's when her friends, the Wu brothers, jump in. They wail on him, beating him relentlessly. He's cornered on a cliff, and in total desperation, he pushes a boulder to get away.
Okay, and this right here, this is where the real injustice kicks in. Guo Fu runs straight to her mom, Huang Rong, and tells this completely twisted version of the story. She paints Yang Guo as this violent monster who attacked for no reason. Of course, she leaves out the part about her crushing his cricket and the fact that he was getting beaten up. And for Huang Rong, this is it. This is all the proof she ever needed. It confirms every single one of her worst fears.
So what's the fallout? Total isolation. Huang Rong is now completely convinced he's a danger, so she refuses to teach him any martial arts. Think about that. All the other kids are training, learning to fight, and he's stuck inside, forced to study literature. It just makes him feel more alone, and you can bet that resentment is building. He's not being punished for what he did. He's being punished for who she's afraid he's going to become.
So months go by. That resentment is just simmering under the surface. Then one day, the other kids catch him. He's practicing some weird-looking martial art in secret. Of course, they start mocking him and, well, another fight breaks out. But this time, it's going to be so much worse.
Okay, so get this. The Wu brothers have his face pushed down in the sand. They're literally suffocating him. And in that moment, something inside Yang Guo just snaps. He unconsciously unleashes the only real martial art he knows, a forbidden technique. And who taught it to him? His kinda crazy godfather, Ouyang Feng. You know, just one of the 5 greats, and an arch-villain whose evil deeds are as legendary as his power.
And boom, in a flash of power, one of the brothers is knocked out cold. And of course, who shows up at that exact second? Huang Rong. She sees the aftermath, she recognizes that signature stance, and everything she's ever feared just comes true right in front of her. All she can do is ask this absolutely chilling question. Where is Ouyang Feng? Where is he?
The fallout from this is immediate, and it is severe. Yang Guo, out of this fierce, maybe misplaced loyalty, refuses to rat out the one guy who's ever been kind to him. So what happens? He gets disowned as a student. The family's oldest, most respected master demands he be thrown off the island. I mean, there is just no coming back from this.
So the verdict is in exile. A totally heartbroken Guo Jing agrees to send him away. He's going to send him to the Taoist masters of the Quanzhen Sect, one of the most respected, most righteous sects in the entire land. It's like a last-ditch effort to try and tame this darkness he now thinks is growing inside the boy.
But you have to see it from Yang Guo's perspective. For him, this isn't some second chance. It's the ultimate betrayal. And as he's leaving, he makes this incredibly defiant vow, basically cutting ties with the only real home he's had since his mom died.
Now you'd think leaving the island would mean a fresh start, right? Wrong. The whole pattern of being misjudged follows them like a shadow. They stop at a temple, and an emotional Guo Jing, frustrated, strikes a stone tablet. Well, 2 Quanzhen priests see this happen and they immediately jump to the worst conclusion. He's some villain desecrating their founder's words. They don't ask a single question, they just attack.
And just look at how fast this thing escalates. The first two attackers call for backup, then they call for more backup. And pretty soon, you've got this entire formation of almost 100 priests, all of them absolutely convinced they're up against some major enemy.
98 people, all against one guy, and it's all based on one completely wrong assumption. The irony here is just staggering, isn't it? Guo Jing is literally there to give them a new student, and they're trying to kill him before he can even explain.
But there's one little problem with their whole plan. They're not just attacking some random guy. They're attacking Guo Jing, a living legend. He is so far out of their league, it's not even funny. With just flicks of his fingers, he's shattering their swords, disarming them left and right, all without actually hurting anyone, mind you. And the whole time he's trying to tell them, hey, it's a misunderstanding.
By the time the dust settles and the fight is over, the damage is already done. So Yang Guo arrives at the gates of the Quanzhen Sect, this place that's supposed to be his sanctuary, his new start. But he's not arriving as a hopeful student anymore. Now he's the kid who showed up with the guy who just single-handedly took down 98 of their best people. The cycle, it's already starting all over again.
And really, that brings us to the core question of his whole story, doesn't it? Is Yang Guo's path set in stone just because of his bloodline? Or does the world itself, by always suspecting the worst of him, actually end up creating the very villain it was so afraid of in the first place?